They'll find ways to compress it. Because, by the way, going from a black and white book to the beautiful color magazine, the file sizes get tremendously bigger. But they'll solve that, right? They'll do some compression. They'll do all kinds of tricks. They'll use the bigger bandwidth. You might even use Wi-Fi for some of the bigger documents. They'll get that. That's the easy part. That's the low-hanging fruit. Where does it get a little bit more difficult? How to provide a device that looks and feels like a book, like we talked about earlier, right? The right weight, the right energy consumption so it doesn't generate that heat. Does it turn like a page? Does it even sound like a page moving? Somebody out here, I'm sure, will probably get some scent technology so it smells like an older book that they took out of the library. It's funny, I took a book to my parents. My parents are in their 70s, and I said, Dad, I want you to smell this book. What's it smell like? It smells like a book. It smells like knowledge. It sounds like you just got it out of the library. I walk up to my son, who's a college student. I think he is. At least I pay his tuition. I don't know if he's going to class, but he's there. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about that? And he smells it, and he goes, it smells like mold and a lot of work. Everybody has their own different experience. What's really tough? Transcending those generations. How can we make a device? And I'm not talking about just the hardware here. How can we make a device with your content on it that is so simple and so intuitive that my dad would use it to read the newspaper in the morning when he gets up? Most of that work resides in this room, believe it or not. It's not the hardware. It's not the wireless network. It's the guys in this room, the ladies and gentlemen in this room. And it's not just the great work that you've done over the hundreds of years. This stuff's great. I can't do this, right? It's taking this format and making it hold that same format, look, that feel, that experience, but have it come alive in a 2-inch screen all the way up to a 100-inch screen. And that's something that you cannot sit idly by and let someone else do. Would you love to give this book to me and have me digitize it for you? Oh, don't do it. That's the part I challenge you with. Digitizing this in a way that it comes alive and it's usable. And there are some companies here I noticed on the 4th floor, I think, or the 6th floor, that are exhibiting some of these types of software. And that's really your most, the difficult thing, which helps to transcend the generations, is what I talked about there. But it also has to do with selecting the right technologies. I believe you will need to step forward a couple of steps and actually have a hand in what technologies are used to show your wares. I really do. And on e-readers, I think you should have a say in what features are in that device and what display technologies are used. Not just for the power that we talked about. Think of it this way. This media is a reflective media. Your TV is probably an LCD. Your flat panel display on your desk could be an LCD or maybe an OLED. Those are not reflective media. Those are transmissive or emissive. It's a different technology. I would, if I were you, spend a couple minutes on reflective technology like the Mirasol, because this is reflective, and that's one of the things that's attractive about this to readers. So, when you look for a display, what do you look for? You look for the low power. We talked about that. The usage time, the charge cycles, the weight, the heat. You're going to need color. Because if you don't have color, you won't be able to cover all the content. Color's a given. Check the box. The world is color. You're going to need good resolution, displays that are well over 200 pixels per inch. You want to start pushing for 300 pixels per inch. It gives you the flexibility to have the fonts that you use every day and take for granted, and have the vivid videos and pictures. You're going to need video rate. Now let me talk about what video rate is. This is a very easy to confuse topic. People say, oh, it's got to be a video rate display. Wow, what does that mean? It means I can watch video on it. It doesn't mean anything like that. Yeah, you can use it for video. But being video rate means, can you really support scanning, zooming, scrolling, an actual physical page turn to make it look like a physical page turn? Those are the things that you need video rate technology for. Not just for watching a video. You're going to have embedded video in your magazines and your newspapers and your books. You're going to get that. Little screens that'll pop up, maybe even full screen. But to be able to get that user experience that we talked about, you need video rate to support panning, zooming, scrolling, and those interactive ways of designing your content. It's critical. And then the other is, and I touched on this, reflective technologies like paper or like the Mirasol technology, what are they really good at? Somebody says sunlight viewability. I can read this magazine at my pool. That is a benefit, but it's more than that. Regardless of the ambient environment, and this is something I know about your product that you probably don't know, is I know very little about your business, just enough to be dangerous. I could never put this together. This has consistent viewing quality regardless of the ambient environment. Unless it's a totally pitch dark room, this page or the pictures in this magazine look the same regardless of the ambient environment. Consistent viewing quality, and that's what you get from a reflective technology without the hurt of energy consumption. You know, I don't know, I haven't found a display yet that you can wrap a fish with yet, but we're looking. So of the technologies that are out there, there's the LCD that we talked about, which is a transmissive technology. It simply takes a backlight, CCFL in the past, and now more towards OLED backlights as we speak today and in moving into the future. And they shine that light through transistors that have a liquid crystal material with polarizers and color filters. And by the time the light gets to your eye, really only about 5% of that light that's generated from the backlight actually makes it out and into the human eye. So basically you're staring at a flashlight that's gone through some polarizers and some color filters. Great technology for your television. Same with the OLED. The OLED is an emissive technology, so it generates light just based on the principles of its technology, like your CRT, the old cathode ray tube, right? You boil off some electrons that would strike the phosphor and they would create cathode luminescence. A very similar phenomenon happens with an OLED. It's an emissive technology. Well, both those technologies are great. We all use them in our homes today, but they both come at a cost of power. They both come at a cost of consistent viewing quality. Remember, as we talked about the light, it changes, gets from bright to dim. Their image performance changes as you step outside. You ever have your handset outside and can't see it? You've got to cover it. That's exactly what's going on. With reflective technologies, you don't have that experience. You want someone to read your magazine on an e-reader by the pool and have to go, oh, I can't really see this thing. Maybe I should crank up that backlight so I can see it. Oh, now I can see it. Whoops, what happened to the battery? And by the way, my hands are sweaty. You can get there with reflective technologies, and the one that you've probably seen the most is what we've seen from e-ink. E-ink has done very well enabling the e-reader market. It's very low power, and it's sunlight viewable. And it's a great product for dedicated readers for black and white books. It only has just a couple of downfalls, which is it doesn't have the capability to be video, and it doesn't have color at this point. So if you want video rate capability, and you want color, you want consistent viewing quality, you're going to have to reach out to what those next generation technologies are. And it's the Mirasol technology from Qualcomm. Well, what is this technology? I've mentioned it a number of times. It's not that complicated. It's actually kind of ingenious. We've all seen butterflies. We've all seen the colors in a butterfly's wings. The wings of a butterfly are literally coated with scales, and these scales all have a spacing, a gap. An optical engineer would call that an optical resonant cavity. And what happens is the ambient light, whether it be from the artificial lighting in this room or from the sun outside, actually enters that optical resonant cavity. The entire spectrum enters it. And through the process of optical interference, both constructive and destructive, in other words, the light goes in, it literally bounces around and cancels each other out. Only a certain wavelength